Welcome everyone. This will be my Penkin episode 2 video, so we will break it all down. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos and watch out for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. Sofia Falcone is still reeling from her brother's death and finds herself in a waking nightmare, which is exacerbated by the weird hypnosis therapy administered by Julian Rush, is played by an actor Theo Rossi, her hot doctor on loan from Arkham. Julian Rush is not in the comics, but some are speculating that he might be the Batman universe version of a Dr. Hugo Strange or Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow from the comics. Both of these villains are started off psychiatrist or psychologist, so Dr. Julian Rush might eventually turn out to be one of them. It's unclear why she would willingly meet with the shrink from her Arkham days, unless, of course, there's some benefit to her future. An angle to work on this guy. You are safe, Rush admonishes, but Sofia knows there is no safety when you are the daughter of an imploding crime family. Meanwhile, Oz slams a bottle of Pepto in the rain outside the Black Gate, prepping his mind for another tricky meeting with Salvatore Maroni. Sal is already in conference with his wife and current underboss Nadia, when Oz drops in with his next proposal, and Sal is none too pleased about having his aunt forced to take the fall for Alberto's death. But Sal is openly wearing his ring around the old cell block, and the credit for Alberto's death is imputing the Maroni family. Even though Salvatore Maroni knows Penguin is trying to frame him, but he then suggests working together to take the Falcon family down. The plan is simple. Have a salesman shoot at the truck that transporting Oz's plant and steal the drugs. Oz acts as an inside man and helps the Maronis boost the drops. The Falcons are moving their drops to the new local operations in Robbinsville via FEMA truck as cover. Drops sitting pretty inside the barrels of emergency water. The route to Robbinsville is a straight shot, no highways, all neighborhoods. The Maronis can waste everyone in the lead car and the truck, but leave the follow car be. That's where Oz is supposed to be safely nestled, except on the night of the move. Johnny Whitty demands the Penguin, as he pointedly calls Oz in front of his entire crew. Ride in the truck with the product. This is where some of the themes of the show start to become more pronounced. Then again, so do some of its strength. On one hand, the mini action sequence of Maroni case crashing the drop transport with Oz talking and shooting is way out of the danger zone. After the Maroni robbery fails, thanks largely to Oz killing off their man to keep his cover, the Falcons meet up to debrief and find out how the transportation went to shit. Oz is there, to casting blame on Whitty's route for the hijacking, but Oz didn't do shit to protect the drops. Whitty's argues back, and that's where Sophie's in. Justice is what matters, and that is what her brothers deserves, she urges. What's more, they're clearly a rat in their outfit, working with the Maronis from inside. Luca Falcone, Carmen's brother, reigning head of the family, is leading the situation with the temperance. He ends with a meeting and gives Oz and Sofia the cold shoulder. Once dismissed, Oz catches Sofia's ear and barely hushed tones tells her he is willing to set aside that whole tying him up naked and almost killing him thing from the last episode. Sofia doesn't bite, but she doesn't seem to suspect Oz of being the rat either. Finally, he points out he owes her for his role in her stay at Arkham, with just enough genuine remorse in his voice and eyes to leave a lasting mark on Sofia's sympathies. Sofia is disappointed. Her family only cares about the money they have lost in the trucks being stolen and feels humiliated. She wants justice, but her family doesn't take her seriously. Her uncle Luca Falcone, who serves as the new mob boss, tells her they will have increased security. When they talk in private, Luca tells Sofia that if there is a rat, they will find them and to leave the family business up to him. This understandably frustrated her. Oz tries to make amends with Sofia and tells her he is on her side, offering to do some digging into who the rat could be. She doesn't seem convinced that he is being genuine, but who else can she turn to? Her family doesn't want her involved. Oz complains to Victor about the situation while they're at Oz's house, then explains to him that Sofia wants an inside man and he will be there for her. While in the car, Sofia hears the people on the radio talking about her release from Arkham, mentoring a serial killer who killed 7 women. In the meantime, Sofia is going to make some moves on her own. At bar, Sofia approaches a detective and asks him to find the rat in her family, particularly dependable informant for her father. Wise isn't having it at first, but a fat stack of bills and a bottle of drops gets him to listen. Sofia needs to know how the Maronis had the info on their Robbinsville transport and fast. Someone named Graciela texts Victor, worried and wanting to know where he's been. Oz invites friends over to party at his place, including Eve. When he goes into his room alone, Eve comes in and asks to talk. She knows Oz killed Alberto and reminds him of the risk. Oz doesn't want her to worry, however, explaining that once the photos he has of Johnny came out, he will take the fall for everything. He tells her to trust him and that once he has more money, he will be able to open up a new club. She seems hesitant to believe him, but semi-comforted, and they share a kiss. Sofia wakes up on the floor in her closet and begins choking, unable to breathe. She goes into the bathroom and she sees blood under her nails and scratches on her neck. What did she do? We don't find out just yet. Oz and Victor pay a visit to Oz's mom and something strong. Her landlord found her wandering outside, seeming confused. Her dementia is getting worse, which frustrates Oz. He pays the landlord and asks him to take care of his mom. He then plays a record for her to cheer her up and they dance. Oz attends Alberto's funeral and when he arrives, he sees people outside protesting against the family criminal's behavior. He tries to give a folder of the Johnny's photos to Luca, but he blows him off. Oz finds Sofia and makes one last Hail Mary to get on her good side. This is another chance for Farrell to monologue with the mouth and the eyes in equal measure, clocking a strategically placed lie inside an emotional flow of truth. My ma said she didn't want to deal with the pity. Oz divulges. Finally, after about a month, Oz's mother got herself up and took her little Oswald to a jazz club on the east side. We danced all night. It's how we celebrated them. Oz says, I would like to think it was me. I don't know, she died a few years back. I never asked. The point, other than making Sofia think that Oz's mother is dead, is it's a hell of a lot more fun to dance than to deal with the pain of loss head on. It's better to get weird with your feelings and pop off with some strategic albeit animated carnage. Their conversation is interrupted when Sofia gets a call from her security guard who tells her to come back to the house. Oz then gets a text from an unknown number asking to meet. At the Falcon house, the detective Sofia hired shows up and has the one of salesman who was part of the hijacking in his car. Kidnapped from the hospital, he is still in his hospital gown, hooked up to morphine and conscious. Sofia doesn't seem happy to see him, but the detective says this guy can give them answers. She has her security guard to take him to the basement. Nadia puts the blame for Edward's capture on Oz, inflating his position with Luca, but Oz argues this move must be Sofia acting on. She believes he went against his word. They start to threaten Oz until he takes out the folder and shows them the blackmails he's got. We finally understood what these photos mean. It's Johnny having sex with Luca's wife, an affair that apparently has been going on for years. Nadia tells Oz they want their man back, the one now being held in the Falcon's basement, and Oz agrees. Nadia wants that the man will throw Oz under the bus, so he better act fast. So Oz hatches a new scheme to frame Witty as the rat, tasking Victor with planting the stolen family jewels in the Witty's car. Victor is hesitant to go along with it. Oz tells Johnny and another man, Milos, about what Sofia has done. Meanwhile, Sofia sees her cousin Carla for the first time in a while, and they chat, but she ends up scaring her and her young daughter. Vic breaks into Luca's car to plant jewels, but someone catches him and he is forced to run away. Oz successfully finds Maroni's guy in the basement and says he will get him out of there, only if he gives Sofia the name Johnny Witty. Vic calls Oz and tells him what happened, which causes Oz to change his mind. He decides to stop and kill the guy instead. Sofia and Luca go to talk to the man in the basement and are surprised to find him dead. Luca says no one is allowed to leave the service, and Sofia tells him that she tried to warn him of a rat. Oz is ushered into a room where all the men at the service are being searched. They are looking for the knife that was used to stab the Maroney's man. Oz has the knife in his hand, and to get rid of it, he picks a fight with Johnny and calls him a rat to cause a scene. While doing so, he is able to put the knife in Sofia's guts pocket. Luca and Sofia came into the room and finds a knife. Sofia demands a gun to shoot Castillo on the spot, but Luca asserts his dominance and shoots Castillo himself before dismissing the room. Sofia is angry and upset, and Luca tells her she should go on a vacation. Oz's improvised B-plan works. Jewels safely stashed in Castillo's apartment in time for the Falcons to find them. Oz is put a charge of cleaning up the mess, and Victor helps him bury the Maroney guys with Sophia's bodyguard. Oz instructs Vic to lie down with them on the ground and yells at him for almost ruining everything, saying this is what happens when you mess up. He seems to feel bad before helping him up. Sofia then calls Oz, but Vic can hear their conversation. Now Sofia doesn't know who she can trust other than Oz. She is ready to dance, team up with Oz, and take over the family. The series of events that got her here were entertaining, but again, a thin perfectly from the vintage point of solid HBO crime series. It is an episode strung together with a series of mob story tropes, some flat, some executed with enough panache to at least a bit coherent. After all, the fact that Sofia would so easily give up her suspicions about Oz only adds to the credibility. But with a double brilliant feud cemented between Oz and Sofia, we all are well set for a vintage Gotham City Foley dudes. Next week, the Penguin and the Hangman take on Gotham's aging fathers of organized crime. If you find any reference during the episode that I didn't talk about in this video, please write them down in the comments.